Javed Iqbal is the most notorious serial killer of hundreds of innocent children in the history of Pakistan. In November 1999, Lahore police were busy with their daily duty and casually checked their mailbox and found a letter.
My count ends at 100. Here, my mission is now accomplished. My message will reach the whole world. I will make hundreds of people cry, and I will send their children to the next world without a coffin through the gutter. I will make many mothers cry.
In that particular letter, everything was mentioned in detail, including the number of victims, their names, addresses, and the process of their murder. Also, how much time was required for the body to dissolve in the acid. The writer confessed to luring the boys from the streets of Lahore to his home, violating and strangling them to death. He then dismembered the bodies of the boys and dumped them into vats of hydrochloric and sulfuric acid to get rid of the evidence. At the end of the letter, the direction of the house was given as 16B Ravi Road. He concluded the letter by saying that he would soon drown himself in the Ravi River. Deputy Superintendent of Police, DSP, Tariq Kambo, along with some officers, had to reach the address on that date. On knocking on the door, a man comes out, 38 years old Javed Iqbal. Police ask him questions and more details about the letter. There was a strange change in his behavior. He completely rejected the proposal, held a gun to his head, and threatened the police that if they didn't leave, he would kill himself in the street. On the 22nd of November 1999, in the Daily Jong newspaper office, a package was delivered to Jamil Chishti, who was a crime reporter at that time. When he opened the package, he discovered pictures of children, accompanied by a message stating, "Today, I reached the target of killing 100 children, and you will find pictures of all those children enclosed. I want you to publish this in your newspaper and make the world aware of what I have done. I'm providing you with a complete confession and the address of my house where you will find all the evidence. When you find out what I have done, the entire world will be shocked." Now, the crime reporter, faced with two possibilities, must determine whether someone is attempting to frame Javed Iqbal or if he has genuinely committed this crime unnoticed. He had to reach the house, but the door was locked. Entering through a wall, he found 85 pairs of shoes and a sack containing children's clothes. In another room, drums of acid lay, emitting a foul smell. His words were, "When I opened the drum, you can't even imagine what happened to me. There was blood in it, and my hands got burnt by the acid." On the wall, they found cards. There were different details written there like, "I deliberately did not dissolve them completely so that the authorities could identify them." The newspaper then took this news to the public and also the names and addresses of 57 children. Everyone gathered at his house, breaking down into uncontrollable sobs when they recognized the clothes and shoes of their children. Javed Iqbal was on the run and the hunt was launched. On December 29, 1999, Javed Iqbal knocked on the door of the Daily Jong newspaper office. As soon as he entered, he surrendered himself, saying, "I am Javed Iqbal, the murderer of 100 children. I hate this world, have no regrets, and I am ready to die." He engaged in conversation with the journalists for the next few hours, providing them with details of each incident. Within a few minutes, army and police officers took him into custody by entering from all sides of the building. When interrogated, Javed Iqbal expressed thoughtfulness, but only for himself. He claimed that it was the negligence of the police system, and he considered himself a victim of injustice. As the pieces of the puzzle came together, more and more details emerged about Javed Iqbal and his disturbing past. Javed was the sixth child of a wealthy family, having 5 brothers and 4 sisters. According to him, despite being very intelligent and naive, constant comparisons with his siblings led to the development of severe aggression in him. Over time, he began causing trouble for his family. According to Javed brother, he was stubborn, and if things didn't work out for him, he used to threaten his father by putting himself in a difficult position. After graduating from college, he established an iron business and chose to hire children because they had fewer salary demands. Javed had pedophilic tendencies, which means he was sexually attracted to children. This was another reason behind hiring children. Despite that, Javed was married twice, but both marriages lasted only for 1 year. He ran an arcade video game shop, As flies gathered on a lollipop, street children gathered there. Javed took advantage of this opportunity and placed a 100 rupee note on the ground, hoping that some child would pick up this note. He used to take them to private rooms and do terrible things with those children. Parents of children prohibited them from going to the arcade after knowing all this, so he opened a gym and aquarium exclusively for this purpose. By 1997, Javed had to face a financial crisis because the purpose for which he used to attract children cost him dearly. As a result of this financial setback, he had to sell his property and move to Lahore City. Javed found a perfect hunting spot in this city, Data Darbar, which is the largest Sufi shrine in South Asia. There, innumerable children used to come in search of food, and Javed used to bring them to his house on the pretext of accommodation and food. Some of the children he found were runaways. The biggest turning point in Javed's life came when he brought home an 18-year-old child, Data Darbar. He sexually assaulted him, but at night when Javed was sleeping on his bed, the boy hit a rifle at Javed's head. When the police arrived, Javed was lying on the ground and blood was flowing profusely from his head. After the inquiry, he was charged with rape, accused of sexual assault and sodomizing children. Police found him guilty and hit him with 100 lashes as a punishment. Due to this, he stayed in a coma for 22 days. His family refused to pay for his hospital bills except his mother, who shed a lot of tears for him. Clinical psychologist Akhtar Ali said that because of this incident, Javed's internal monster came out. Javed never thought that violence and aggression could happen to him. He continuously ran out of money, and then he decided to move to a rental house at 16B Ravi Road, nursing his revenge on the side. His words were,
"I was beaten so much that they crushed my head. They left me crippled. I did it all for revenge. I will make 100 mothers cry like my mother cried for me."
This gives us enough psychological explanation behind Javed's evil actions. He took revenge for 100 lashes from 100 children. He started his revenge in May 1999, and in just 147 days, 100 children were missing from the entire city. First, he would take pictures of the children, then he would feed them a nice meal outside. After bringing them home, he would molest them and finally strangle them to death, but he would kill them by tying them with a chain, and then put those bodies in the acid drum. This continues to happen to 100 innocent children. After presenting this complete confession to the police, the bodies of the victims were identified. Out of 100, only 57 bodies could be identified. There were photographs of children because most of the bodies were completely dissolved in acid. February 18, 2000. Javed Iqbal was formally inducted along with his accomplices. Despite confessing everything in front of the media and police, he denied his statement in court and claimed his innocence, saying that none of the children were murdered, and all this was just a public stunt, nothing else. After that, Javed changed his statement again and claimed that 20 people came to his house and murdered those children. The judge had the burden of the entire country, his shoulders. People went on strike outside the court until the final decision was made. On March 15, 2000, Javed was found guilty. Allah Bakhsh, the judge who presided over the case, sentenced him to death, not just any death, but the same fate as the 100 young boys he murdered. The judge said, "You will be strangled to death in front of the parents whose children you killed. Your body will then be cut into 100 pieces and put in acid, the same way you killed the children." The judge ordered the execution to be carried out at a public park and in front of the National Monument. He also specified that the same chain Javed used to kill the boys should be used on him. Pakistan's Interior Minister said the sentence would be challenged, claiming that this sort of punishment would not be allowed as it violated human rights. On October 9, 2001, in Block 7 of the maximum security prison in Kot Lakhpat, Javed Iqbal was found dead along with his accomplice Sajid. They committed suicide by hanging themselves with a shirt. However, when the investigation came to light, it revealed that there was no CCTV camera footage. And during that time, the guard was also sleeping. The deaths of both culprits in the same manner and at the same time only make us doubt whether they took their own lives or whether they were forced to die. Javed was a monstrous serial killer who committed unspeakable crimes against innocent and vulnerable children. His case did raise awareness of the dangers and problems surrounding runaway and poor children. Tragically, it cost 100 lives to do so. Thanks for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos.